Yeah, I'm trying to get it going, get it up. This is a lot to try to get it going. Okay, there we go. Okay.
It's up. It's up. It's up right now. Yeah, I put the links in the chat. The links are in the chat. Yes. On TikTok. All the links are in TikTok. So they're active right now. If you go to them, well, I don't know if you can click on them or not. I don't think it works that way in TikTok, unfortunately. Like I put the links to both things in the comment section on TikTok, but you can't click on them to go to where they are. Yeah. Maybe they block it then. You don't see none of my comments? Oh, okay, yeah. So they blocked me from putting that in there. Okay. Well, I put the space in our group chat as well. So Taz, you should be able to see it also. The X space link, I sent it to our group chat in iMessage. Mm-hmm. Okay. Did you see it, Taz? Oh wait, you're driving. Never mind. Okay. Don't worry about it. Okay. I'll send the YouTube as well, so you can also have that. Well, both links are in the group chat. All right, Big Pop, I'm gonna make you a co-host. I just sent the invite for co-host. Perfect. Y'all, we a live show, you know. That's how we do it. We do appreciate your patience as we get this all going. Gotta tap in to find out. That's right. Join the conversation. Absolutely. I would recommend it. Yes. Do all of the things. Definitely, please. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. Hello. Hi, Suevo. I'm Jay. Nice meeting you. Good, good. Where are you from? Oh, nice, nice. Oh, okay. Nice, nice. How you like it in Florida? Jacksonville. I feel that. Oh, hello. Good. Oh, hey, 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 hey. Who's this? Lakers. Lakers, you the one that Lakers is the one that came here though. That's the thing. You who's this? Well, hold up. You came here, so you must love it. So, I I'm over here. I'm on Lakers page, and he literally looks like a troll doll. Oh, he bounced. Oh, he bounced. Mm. That was comedy. I love it. It's ready. Oh man. Well, that was funny. Oh, they bounced. Oh, that was so funny. Uh, hmm I was trying to say, but you was too busy moaning. I was about to roast that little one at the bottom. Both of them was kids, so I was like, damn, I can't say but too much. I was about to roast they little ass. Though. That would have been good engagement. Trust me, they wouldn't have been able to get handle the dozens. Trust. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, yeah. Who me? Yeah, let's go ahead and move it on over to the other platform. It's starting to get a little spicy, so let's just go ahead and transition over. X space. Yeah. Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. Hey everyone. Hello, hello everyone. Thank you for your patience. We did our pre-show on TikTok at the Truth Power Perspectives uh, page on TikTok. Big Papa and I, we were there having our pre-show. Hey everyone. Just wanted to check the audio. Sounds like we're good. Just waiting on the co-host to get in so we can get things going here on the X space. Thank you, everyone. Hi, Big Papa. Good to hear your voice. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Give me one second. Let me make sure I got this audio right on your end because I'm not seeing it move. Say something? Okay. Okay. All right. Say again. Okay. Why am I not getting it here? Oh, um, it should be. Oh, I think we should be good. Yeah. Well, yeah. That's yeah. Okay. I think we should be. I'm trying to just make sure it's right. Okay. There we go. Now I think we're good. Say something now.
Does
Yep.
it sound good? Are
Yes.
we
Yes.
good?
Yes. It's good now. It's good now. I had it on the wrong damn thing. Okay. Damn. All right.
All right. Remember what you're doing.
It's just it, but it's good now because I'm playing it back on YouTube. Yep. Yep. Okay. Everything's good now. Cool. Very good. We sound great. We got the audio figured out finally. But yeah,
Okay.
hallelujah. All right, Big Papa. So we got quite a show today on
Yep.
Two Power
Jam fact.
Perspectives.
Jam fact. Hold on, I can't hear you. What?
Oh no, I was just texting back Taz. She
Oh,
said the
okay.
audio was low, but I had to turn it back up. So it should be good now. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead. We were having the pre-show over on TikTok Live and had some interesting conversations, met some interesting people.
Uh-huh.
But today is the 31st of May, 2025, in the year of our Lord, and we have a black fact that we have on our agenda for May 31st, 1921. Did you want me to go over it? Do you want to go over it?
Yeah, you can go. You can go.
Okay. So on May 31st, 1921, the thriving black community of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, also known as Black Wall Street, was reduced to ashes by white mobs. So that
Okay.
happened on this day.
Hold on, you're sounding pixelated like you're too high.
Does it sound fine now?
Yeah, it sounds fine, but it's like when you started reading, it started getting distorted. So try
Oh,
reading it again, and I'll see if it's doing it.
okay. On May 31st, 1921, the thriving black community of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, known as Black Wall Street, was reduced to ashes by a white mob.
Okay, it did it like 3 times, but it was nowhere near as bad as was.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll just go with it.
Yeah.
So anyways, the Black Wall Street, as it's known,
No, 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 no. It's still doing it. It's still doing it.
can you not understand what I'm saying?
No, I can't because it's like it's static. Like it's really high or something.
Oh, like it's too loud.
Yeah.
All right, let me turn it down. See, Taz said it was too low, so maybe I turned it too high. How's that sound?
Okay. Wait. So start talking, and that's when it starts. When you start talking like long sentences.
Okay. Um, uh,
But it
on
is
May
sounding a
31st,
lot better.
1921, the thriving black community of Greenwood in Tulsa, Oklahoma, known as Black Wall Street, was reduced to ashes by a white mob. Does that sound
No,
bad?
that's good. Good,
Okay.
good,
All
good.
right.
We're
All
good
right. Just
now.
turn it down a
Sorry.
little bit. Hopefully, everyone can hear it as loud as it needs to be on YouTube. Now it sounds really low. Okay, whatever. It's fine. Well, all right. So, Black Wall Street. You go and talk about it, Mariah, or your topic. Yeah.
Well, as we know, at one point in time, that was in the year of. Let me pull that up.
1921.
Okay, so in the 1920s, black people were they were actually doing well for themselves in the 1920s, and we were still segregated. So you would start to see different black communities popping up over the United States. And one of those successful communities was in Tulsa, the Black Wall Street. Another place
Place was
was in Georgia, located at
at
Lake
Lake
Lanier,
Lanier.
I forgot the name of that town. And then there was also black communities in Wilmington, North Carolina. So we started to see a lot of different black successful communities popping up around the country.
Hmm.
But as y'all white folks love to do, y'all want to have everything.
Ooh.
You don't want to share it. Y'all gotta have everything. And what did y'all do? Burn down Black Wall Street, drowned out the town where Lake Lanier is, why it's a lake now. Pushed out the black people in Wilmington, North Carolina, pushed them all the way out into the swamplands, which is now called Atlantic Beach.
Yep.
Because y'all didn't want us to have any success, which at the end result now in 2025, see where the black community is now. Now a large amount of black people who are successful are located in Atlanta, Georgia. And of course there's other um locations as well, like Alta Vista in California that burned down, which was a black successful black community in California.
Mm-hmm.
um and I'm guessing like you would see in Harlem, there's a lot of black people focused in New York. um but the main area where there's a great subset of African Americans who are doing very successful, I would say, is Atlanta. Would you agree?
Yeah. Atlanta is a huge enclave of successful black, foundational black Americans. I will say that, like everywhere else, though, um, unfortunately, a lot of black people are getting gentrified and getting pushed out of their neighborhoods and forced to go into other places. It seems
Hmm.
that seems to be happening a lot. But yeah, as a whole, uh, yeah, that is a place correct for a lot of successful Black Americans to go to be.
I mean, I guess we could say Potomac as well.
Gentrified
Would you agree?
and getting.
Potomac is
Oh yeah, Potomac is definitely one of the other ones as well.
okay. So Potomac, and then it's another place in New York that's near. I forgot what it's called, but you can't drive there. You have to either fly into it or uh get a boat.
Hmm.
But it's like it's on an island and it's in New York. And they did a show about it where all of it's something garden, I believe, but they did a reality show on it where successful African Americans go there and they celebrate holidays and things like that.
Okay.
But even to get to that far, the success of Atlanta, that took a lot of time. Where if those locations we were speaking of before, Tulsa, the town that Lake Lanier uh was, those type of locations would if they were still thriving to this day, then I think that us as a black race would be definitely financially a lot further than we were. I mean, than we are now.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with that for sure. Um, if we weren't, constantly being attacked or sabotaged, I think that the black community would be progressed a lot further than where it is, which goes to show that it's not a matter of, oh, black people are incapable or lazy or whatever the case may be. We are able to do a lot of things. It's just we're sabotaged, and no other group of people in this country have experienced that kind of strategic and ongoing attack like Black Americans have. You have other people, other group races, nationalities that come to this country from wherever the hell they come from, and they're able to build businesses, build neighborhoods. I mean, right now you're seeing a little bit of a pushback where you have the Arab community trying to build a community out in Texas, and the folks out there aren't liking it. But even still, with them, they, they're not dealing with what Black Americans dealt with in, the 1920s, 30s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, and present day.
Correct. And I mean, and I would even say like the 70s wasn't bad. Like in the 70s it was more community, but what did they do? They introduced crack into the black neighborhoods. And we saw that through the 80s. So that's another chunk of income going into somebody's pocket that's creating crack and cocaine. And well, at that time it was freebase. And getting people addicted. But now we see, fast forward to now, I mean, I see mainly a lot of black people are still addicted to crack, but fentanyl has came into the United States. But I'm not seeing a lot of people that are addicted to fentanyl that are black. Mainly, I'm seeing them addicted to pills, alcohol, and crack cocaine. Um,
Yeah, that's you don't really see fentanyl attacking the black community so much as you do the other communities. I will say that.
yeah,
And that's very interesting because when the crack epidemic was destroying the black community, the reaction is very different then than it is today when it's their people being hurt by drugs in their communities. The solution back
correct.
then in the 80s and 90s, if you recall, was to just lock them up. You had Joe Biden's crime bill, three strikes, you're out. And his son happens to be one of the biggest cokeheads on the planet. But I digress. If
Allegedly.
you no, he's a crackhead.
I'm gonna say allegedly because I don't know that for a fact. I do
He
know that
is
he
a
has.
crackhead. He is a
I
crackhead.
know that he does have experience with drugs, but I cannot confirm that he is a crackhead.
It's been reported and confirmed that he's a crackhead. So, anyways, he's a crackhead, and you got where Joe Biden was like, okay, three strikes, you're out for the black community. But here it is, you have the other communities, and they have their epidemic of drugs, and instead of locking them up, their solution is, well, let's put them, they're sick, they need treatment. So, let's put them in rehab, let's put them in the hospital. Hell, let's give them a place where they can get high and nobody bothers them. That's their solution.
All right.
So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I just find that interesting.
Yes, I will say back then it was say no to drugs, and now it's rehabs, and you get to go away to some nice rehab and stay for days at a time, and but all of that is not cheap either.
No.
That's it's all a cost to get yourself right. But I think that goes back to um some of these children are running to the streets for love because they don't have parents. Now the demand for uh to pay your bills and keep a roof over your head is more important than spending time with your family,
Mm,
when before it was the opposite. Spend time with your family was everything taken care of the home was the most important thing to keep your family together. And now it's you know you just need somewhere to put your head down for a few hours before you have to go back, so you don't have time for your family. And because you don't have time for your family, the streets is raising your kids, the TV shows is raising your kids,
right.
podcasts are raising your kids, and video games are raising your kids.
Hmm.
So and a lot of the video games that are raising your children has sex, drugs, and crime. And then you sit here and you wonder why the next generation is so bad and why people are so heartless. Well, you've been pushing heartless material into their face to basically pacify them because you got to work.
Hmm. Yeah. No, that's it. That's a sad reality that unfortunately parents don't have time for their kids anymore.
Yep. But that's still all, the 5-day work week is still all, that's racism as well.
Hmm.
Everything is on race. And
Yes.
when I hear white people say that they don't want to hear about everything being about race and that's the only thing we can talk about. Well, everything literally is about race.
Yeah.
Everything.
When they make it, and always tie it back to race. Yeah. What do you expect? Um, Anytime there's a movie reboot and one of the actors is a different race than the original movie or whatever, then these same people get all bent out of shape. They want to talk about, let's not talk about race, but what's the first thing they want to talk about? It's race. So
Race.
yeah, they're a
Hold on.
miserable bunch.
Hold on, Jay. I gotta go to the little girl's room. So take it for me for just a minute.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
Well, just moving on. We can go on talk about. Oh yes, Elon and Trump breakup. Uh, Apparently Elon and Donald Trump, they're not on the best of terms right now. Um, he is no longer a part of the White House. Now they say that this was already pre-planned in the works, that he knew that there was only so many days that he was going to be part of the administration. This could be true, sure. I mean, it's not the first time that people that have worked on an administration have only been there for a short period of time and then they left. But the situation with this is that it's very odd because, Elon had Doge, he made all of those cuts, people got laid off, and now there's just a huge talk about, well, was this it? What was the point of all of this? Is Elon's Doge still going to be around? Is that still going to be a thing in the government? He thinks it is. I'm more of in the camp of I think things are just going to remain the same. That it was all a huge dog and pony show. Just my thoughts, but you know they apparently are no longer going to be in the White House. At least Elon is. They had a nice little press conference yesterday, him and Trump at the White House in the Oval Office, where he was standing over Trump like his master and just having this weird conversation. He had a black eye as well. He said that his kid ex gave it to him. I don't know if a 5-year-old could have a hook like that, but hey, here we are. Um, Apparently, there's a lot of fighting that's going down in the White House right now, um, between some of the officials, if you can call them that. But yeah, they are definitely, in my opinion, falling apart at the seams, as it were. But we will definitely follow this and keep track of any kind of changes as far as this breakup, as it were. I think
Yes.
that,
Sorry, guys.
oh, no, you're good. I was just talking
Um.
about the Elon and Trump breakup.
Oh, okay. Yeah. To, I mean, America, you got what you wanted. You wanted Elon out of the White House, as far and so he's letting the press know that he's not leaving the White House and that he will be going back and forth. But as we know, the executive board over at Tesla uh, is not liking it all too well because their stock is dropping. How much is a Tesla share right now?
Let me uh let me see.
I don't know if they dropped like 70% or something.
Okay, so right now it's showing is 346, and that's a drop of 3.34%. Um,
Since January.
well, year to date, it's had a drop of 8.65%, um, which is
Okay.
$32.82. So, yeah, I mean, it's had an effect on his stock for sure.
All right. So, and did you talk about the fight that happened?
Briefly, but you can go more. I didn't really go too much into that.
Okay. So, Trump put out a tweet in Truth Social that he was going to have a meeting with Elon. So, of course, Elon showed up at the White House with Donald Trump, and
Did you talk about the
and
fight that happened? Briefly, but you can
oh,
go right.
sorry, I can hear myself, Jeff. Well, I can hear the recording.
Yeah,
Do I start
I was
talking?
checking the audio. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Um, so he showed up to the White House with a black eye. And well, yeah, a black eye in front of the news. So they asked him about a certain article that was in the um what is it, the White Journal, what is it, the
um,
one that Bezos owns.
Washington Post.
Yeah, I think it was the Washington Post.
Okay.
Well, he was asked about that, and of course, his response was not the answer. His response was that that newspaper was found to be guilty for spreading lies, and that they had a lawsuit where they're gonna have to pay back the people that they lied on, and this and that. But my whole thing is that y'all praise Fox News, but Fox News was got sued for lying, and they had to pay out a certain amount. I just believe that Elon did not want to answer the question. He didn't want to discuss, but apparently the reason why he did have the black eye was because he got into a fight with one of the another secretary that's in the cabinet, and the whole fight went on because
Hmm.
Elon made a promise that he was going to find $1 trillion worth of fraud and waste in the government when he only found 100 billion. So, that whole thing is kind of pissing people off because they realize, like you said, that the Trump
Going
administration
to
is a sham,
find
and
$1 trillion
that it's not
worth
good,
of fraud and
and people are
waste in the
frankly
government
embarrassed.
when he only found a
They
hundred
go
billion.
on different interviews
So
and get
you know
asked
that
these different
whole.
questions, and they're embarrassed because they can't answer it, because if they do answer it, they know that they're gonna have to face the news and face everything,
Mm-hmm.
you know so that just goes to tell you that what they're telling you on TV, that everything is great and fine, and oh, he found so much waste, and they're clapping hands and all that, it's fraud, it's a setup, it's fake. You
Mm-hmm.
don't believe none of that. Whatever you're saying, it's all fake.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It's all. I agree. It's all performative. It's all performative. Yeah. But
And
that's
so
what we the
Caroline
people
Levitt
expect.
Caroline Levitt, she stuck her white ass up there and responded when someone asked about the fight with Elon and the other cabinet secretary. And she said that, oh, they're just so passionate.
Oh my
They're
God.
really passionate about their work. And so sometimes that does happen, incidents like this, because they're so passionate about their work. First of all, what job do you know that you can your fight someone who is equal as you, and you can show up to work the next day and be in interviews with a fucking black eye? What job do you know that allows you to do that?
Mm-hmm.
If
No.
it was any one of these corporate jobs, you would be fired on the spot. And before the police came to break y'all up, you would be headed to your locker to collect up all of your things, and you would get your hat and your coat and leave. And we want your badge as well. You could
Hmm.
turn that in at the security office on your way out.
As you make your exit.
Okay, as you make your exits right now. Yes, you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Shout out to New York. So I just so that whole situation has also brought up the addiction of ketamine in Elon Musk, and
My God.
how Elon Musk has been mixing ketamine with other drugs to, I don't know, either deal with the stress of that his baby, his Tesla,
Mm.
the CEO suite, the C suite wants him out. Deal with the stress of that every rocket that you put up in the sky crumbles and falls down to the ground.
Oh man.
Dealing with that airplanes are tapping each other when SpaceX is supposed to be in charge of the FAA now. Dealing with just the stress your child has come out as trans, and every interview that she does, she talks shit about you and how much of a fraud that you are. Yeah, that's the reason why he's doing loads and loads of ketamine. And they also said that due to his addiction of ketamine, that it's affecting his bladder and that he can't pee, and if he does pee, it's excessive pee. Sounds a whole lot like Joe Biden, doesn't it?
I mean, if
So
we're gonna
you
go with
know.
all of that allegedly, right?
Right. So so it's a lot of different things that we don't know what's going on, but that information was confirmed by Steve Bannon. You all can look that up, but allegedly that did occur. And what Jay told me is that he tried to say that he was what with his girlfriend. What happened?
You talking about Elon?
Yeah, what did you say you heard
He was
Elon lied and said he got
oh
it from?
from his kid, his 5-year-old ex,
Yeah.
the
Oh,
boy.
yeah, the one that puts boogers on the
Hmm.
the one that puts boogers on the desk and tells the president to shut the f up.
Hmm. Yeah.
That one. Oh, okay.
So he said
The
that.
the
Yeah. Well, what he was claiming was that he was playing with X, and X hit him in his face, and that's where the bruise came from. I doubt that a 5-year-old could leave a bruise like that. That's a bruise from getting socked in your eye.
correct. And that's not the first time that argument between the cabinet secretary guy and Elon has occurred in the White House. Because if you remember a few podcasts back, we were talking about how there was an argument outside of the Oval Office, in earshot of Trump, and that they were arguing at that point too about Elon
Hmm.
and about his basically his lies and the mess that he's made at the White House. But I
Hmm.
also believe that some of them are jealous of him because he's disabled. I mean, he has a disability, or
Allegedly.
he has allegedly he's autistic or has Asperger's or whatever,
Mm.
and he's the richest person in the world. So that's going to ruffle some feathers with people who are mad that a white Afrikaner was able to create so much success and cause so much havoc when they're just a white person living in America, and you happen to get a secretary of cabinet job, you know so I just find it very interesting that that occurred. And I would say the other reason why he's probably overdosing on ketamine all the time is because he got all these children that he done made, and he don't want it to get out that he's not in his children's lives, but yet he's showing off baby X to everyone like he's this great
Father of the
father when
year.
he's not. Yeah, he's not. Cause I think he done had another baby that that the mother is putting him on blast, and now she's trying to get child support out of him because he don't even want to spend time with his child.
Mm.
But the only two children he can talk about is baby X and the his daughter that's trans, well, his son that's trans now and is a girl, and she has a modeling contract in every single the hottest of modeling agencies and magazines want her on the front page. So, it's just
That's weird.
interesting that this is what you all have put this man through. And I mean, he's denying that that we won't ever see him at the White House. He's saying that he will be showing up to the White House, which all of that comes back to, well, aren't y'all in court? And we need to know who's in charge, because Trump is saying that X is an advisor. Well, if he's an advisor, that's fine, but he can't be the head of Doge. You can't be the head of Doge because A, Doge is not a real government agency, and two, that would cause a very big mix up between the person who is giving you money into your campaign, and now you got them over a the Doge industry, I mean the Doge group, that now got everybody's social security numbers and everything. So I just find it quite interesting, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, do we ever know who's in charge at the White House? Really? Ever? I don't know. I don't think we do. I think it's just shadow government, the deep state, as it were. I don't
I
think the
want to
deep
know
state
who's in
ever.
charge.
Yeah, I don't think the deep state ever leaves. And at the end of the day, we're just beholden to all of the shit. So, yeah, that's what I think. But yeah.
Okay, so like a V16 type of situation
I don't know what that is.
from what's the name of that
Oh, you
show
talking about
that Kerry Washington?
yeah. Okay, see, yeah. Now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. That's yeah. Mhm. Mhm.
A V16 type of situation. Oh, okay.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. Let me get it pulled up here. Yep. So, Nvidia had their earnings call this week. Um, Let me go pull up some information on that. Earnings call. Okay, so yes, first quarter fiscal 2026 revenue of 44.1 billion, up 12% from Q4 and up 69% from a year ago. Data center revenue of 39.1 billion, up 10% from Q4 and up 73% from a year ago. So Nvidia, their CEO, um, what's the CEO's name? His name's somewhere in here. Uh, okay. Let me go back where it has his actual name. It's probably it right here. Yes, this is the dude. Um, okay. I should have had his name already. Okay. Jensen Huang. That's the CEO of NVIDIA. So, NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, he went over their earnings call. One of the big takeaways And this is from CNBC. Nvidia's earnings delivered, but CEO Jensen Huang continued to miss the message on chip export controls limited aimed to cut off China's access to key AI technologies, writes international policy and trade analysts. Huang added a recent series of complaints about what he calls a failure of U.S. policy under both Biden and Trump as part of the chipmaker's positive earnings report. Interesting. Nvidia is likely learning a hard lesson about China that others in the market, from Apple to Tesla and Nike, have also learned. U.S. policy should never place a company's profits in China ahead of national security. Interesting. Um, In the interviews on the sidelines of the event, Huang sharply criticized U.S. export controls on AI chips, calling them a failure. He blamed both Trump and Biden administrations for triggering a collapse in Nvidia's China's business, claiming that the company's market share in the country dropped from 95% to 50% over 4 years, and disclosed a multi-billion-dollar write-down on unsold H2O chips blocked from sale. So that's part of the tariff war. Nvidia had a really big order of chips to China that the order got canceled because of the tariff situation. So that was the issue with that that caused that multi-billion-dollar write-down, because they weren't able to sell those chips in China. But with that, and it says here, the CEO complaints about U.S. policy continued with Huang's China is effectively closed, meaning that the business in China is effectively closed. So all the chip business that they did have is basically done. So, but all of that being said, uh, they still had a positive earnings report. Their stock went up dramatically after their earnings call. And yeah, one of the big takeaways, I think, is that the business environment is still going to find ways to adjust despite what's happening with the tariffs. But at what cost does that mean for the consumers? That kind of remains to be seen. But these people are still going to be making money. That's what I think. You there, Big Papa? I think you're on mute. Uh oh. I think she might be away. So yeah, that's where
Okay,
Nvidia.
I'm here.
Oh, okay.
Sorry.
You're good.
So I was gonna say that I did hear um that there's still not any containers that are being sent here. However, those those ships, they are moving, but they're moving
You
to
there, Big Papa?
different countries.
I think you're on mute.
So
Uh oh.
that
I think
that's very
she might be away.
on
So yeah,
on
that's
the
where.
on
Okay, I'm here.
on point about um
Sorry. You're good.
not being able to um get the order, getting orders in.
Yeah, yeah. So that'll be interesting to see how all of that plays out.
Yeah.
Still going on about Trump. Trump pardons black icons Big Meech, young NBA boy. Should blacks
Hmm.
change their mind about MAGA? Um, no. Just because he pardoned some people, he also pardoned Chrisley, the Chrisleys, both of them.
Right.
I just think that it's part of the distraction so that people don't pay attention to what's really going on in Ukraine and Israel and the
Hmm.
Middle East. So yeah, let's just distract people with these pardons. Eh, and of
But
course,
I also
I think
think
he is
that
trying to pander to a certain degree. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the way that African Americans kind of uh put a bar on celebrities and just having so much of a impact on the celebrity world per
Mm-hmm.
se.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's trying to reach the ignorant part of the community, the ghetto, if you will, that they think that you know Trump is doing a big one because their favorite artist is now out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But black folks, y'all need to remember that all of this is uh for them to be able to use against us, or they'll try to use it to say, well, we got this person out, we got that person out, so Black America, we're showing that we support you all and that we have you all's back.
Mm-hmm.
But the truth is, no.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Um, I think that. Oh no, you're fine. You are a okay. Oh snap! Let me mute this real quick. All right, go ahead. Yeah, it was doing something weird. Yeah. All right. Mm-hmm.
Huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Is it all right?
Yeah, I got it straightened out now.
Okay.
Yeah, it was doing like a double audio thing when you were talking,
Oh, okay.
but I think it's fixed now.
I think
But now I'm hearing like I'm hearing myself. I think.
you're hearing yourself double.
Yeah. Yeah, we're good.
Is it all right?
Yeah, I got it straight. Okay, yeah, it's good now. It's good. Okay. All right. So moving on, y'all. I tell you, we a live and direct show, honey. We just be working on it all the time. Okay. Trump denies FEMA for Asheville. Thoughts from a real estate agent, which would be me. Um, yeah, which that FEMA situation. I know we talked about it briefly last week, but it just goes into what we've been saying. Like, hell, mutual aid is going to be really important, very, very important. Um, hopefully, they can make some connections with the people in DC and get some kind of FEMA funds going. I don't know why they denied it, but hey, excuse me. um,
Yeah, but I guess where I was getting at with that is that
hmm
you own a single family home that has been destroyed by Hurricane Helene.
hmm
Um, when the incident occurred, you received $750 from the government, with promises that more was to come. Whether those payments went out, I don't really know that deeper information.
Yeah, but I guess
But
where I was getting
still,
at
in
with
order
that is
to
that
reshaped the town of Asheville and surrounding areas, Boone, etc., etc. Um, it was heavily dependent on FEMA. You know, your house insurance can only do but so much, but FEMA should be helping to repair the roads to get to these houses. Those who don't know about the Asheville area, it's a mountainous area. So it's not like homes are on flat land. A lot of the homes are um on in valleys, and some
Hmm.
homes are in on the side of a mountain, you
Right.
know. So to get to those locations, uh the roads would need to be repaired, just a way to get around is heavily dependent on FEMA funding, as well as getting, communities back to the way that they were. So, you are back to the single family homeowner. You are either living in some type of emergency housing situation right now. I'm sure there's a list of people who are on the insurance list for getting money back for their home. What do you, in your opinion, should a family do when, they're thinking, well, my life was in Asheville, and, it seems that it's going to take a little bit longer to get the town that I loved so much, repaired? What do you tell a family like that? Do you tell a family to rent now that renting may be a further option? Do you tell that family to find another mountainous city with the money that you do have and get into another loan where interest rates are already at 70? I mean, not 70, but interest rates are at 7%. And we do know that they try to, what's the guy's name that's over the interest rates?
Fed Powell,
Yeah,
Fed Chair Powell.
they tried to bring Powell in, like, in a secret meeting at the White House, and they tried to, like, hit him over the head pretty much to beg him to bring the interest rate down, and he said no. So the 7% is staying. So you already have a high interest rate. And so what do they do? Do they, in your opinion, do you think that they should stay and just wait it out? Or do you think that they should go to a new construction community where we're hearing, well, where you're telling me that, they're knocking down interest rates, and where you won't have to depend on a 7% interest rate, where your interest rate is a lot lower to live in a new community? Do they, you know do they what do they do?
Well,
In your opinion, what do you think would be, the best bet? Of course, we already know they're getting a check for the house.
hmm,
They already got
hopefully.
some emergency money from FEMA before the funds got cut. We don't really know what the state of North Carolina is doing to help these families, but they're getting a check. If your house is destroyed, you're getting a check for your house. So now the next thing is do you stay in the community where it's going to take longer to fix it? I mean, when I saw how long it took for them to fix the road up the street from me, it took them at least 3 to 6 months just to fix that, and that was like a sunk hole in the
Hmm.
ground, and that's a lot of what it looked like in Asheville, where the roads were, all the land was coming out from underneath the pavement of the road, the cement, and that caused the cement to split. So I already know that's got to take 6 months. And now we're getting ready to go into the hurricane season next week. So do you stay, or do you try to find a new community to live in where they're giving you new construction in materials that aren't the best, or um do you just start your life back over again somewhere else?
I don't think a lot of those people would want to live in those new communities for one. I don't think that's like their top of choice. Um, I don't think a lot of these people are in the position to be able to qualify for those types of things, anyways, in a new community. So that's where it goes back to, okay, mutual aid is going to be really important because these people are going to be really starting from nothing, I think, or they're really going to have to rely on their neighbors to help them get through this hard time. Uh, to make it because it is going to be. I just don't to what you propose where like are people going to be able to buy. I don't think that's going to be common because for one they can't even keep up with the demand and people aren't going to pay these prices and they're not wanting to be in these types of new construction communities anyways, especially if they had a good amount of acreage. They're not going to want to be in a new community where you're on top of your neighbors. So these people, I think they're just going to stick it out as best they can. They're going to scrap for resources, and mutual aid is going to have to be one of those things where your neighbors, friends, community is going to have to help each other through this time as they rebuild.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Yeah. So I know that's not exciting, but that's kind of that's it.
Well, I figured you would plug yourself in and say, but if your situation is different and you do want to change your life and move to, you know, somewhere different in North Carolina or somewhere in South Carolina um that you would be open to doing a consultation if you show the proof of funds and you really want to leave the area and go somewhere else.
Yeah, no, definitely. If everybody wants to talk about real estate, I love talking about real estate. Let's have a conversation.
Okay.
Looks like we have another Trump update on tariffs. The judge decided against the was it Liberation Day tariffs? It's just a lot going
Yeah,
on with these damn tariffs. I'm gonna be honest with you.
but they ended up filing an appeal for it. So even though the judge said um that the tariffs that Trump changed it to would need to go back to how they were before, but the administration just filed like an appeal and a cease and desist order. So the tariffs that Trump has for it is back on.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So guess we'll have to wait and see as they duke it out in the courts and it goes to the Supreme Court and then they do what they do and make it the law of the land for everybody else. I swear, man. Craziness.
Okay.
Um, Trump gives an ultimatum to Putin for end of Ukraine war in 2 weeks, or we may be looking at possibly World War III. Wouldn't that be something?
Yes. So that all goes back to is is Trump going to tackle it out? In other words, is he going to Uh, uh, Trump always chickens out of everything.
especially when it comes to Putin. U.S. President Donald Trump, this is from the BBC, phrasing, has appeared to set a 2 week deadline for Vladimir Putin, threatening a different response if the Russian counterpart was still stringing him along. As the Kremlin escalated its attacks on Ukraine, Trump was asked in the Oval Office on Wednesday if he thought Putin wanted to end the war. I can't tell you that, but I'll let you know in about 2 weeks. uh,
Yep.
Trump told reporters, the latest amid a string of critical public remarks made by Trump about Putin. Okay. So yeah, I wonder what will happen when 2 weeks come. I can already see that nothing's going to change. As a matter of fact, I can probably predict that Russia is probably going to do one of the worst attacks that it's ever done in 2 weeks, just to see what the hell Trump's going to do about it. And then when nothing happens, it's just going to make us look like a whole bunch of punks, which is the whole
Well,
purpose.
yes, yes. Those are all tactics that the KGB does on people all the time.
Well, I mean, Trump is the one that kind of put that out there and set a number.
Yep.
Like you have no leverage over the situation. The only leverage you have is to start World War III. Okay, like let's just be real. That's literally the only leverage you have over this whole situation with Russia and Ukraine. In my opinion, Russia, they are defending themselves against, what they view as Western encroachments based on policies and terms that they agreed on a long time ago that classic West they now want to renege on. So, yeah, I view Russia as just defending themselves against the West. And Trump is the one that said he wanted to see he'll get back to us in 2 weeks. I mean, again, you're just poking the proverbial bear, and you just testing them to see. All right, well, yeah, 2 weeks, okay, sure. Let me go send another silo of drones to go do some nasty stuff, and then what? What's he gonna do? He's gonna start World War III. Okay, well, I got big bombs too, so we can all blow up. Like, is that really like that? That's where we at then, huh? Like, that's what I think
Mhm.
is just, man. Yeah, saber rattling,
Okay.
saber rattling.
Well, there is a history of Republicans starting wars.
Yeah,
Even though Trump claims that he doesn't want to do that. But
right.
you know, I don't know if I 100% agree that Russia is defending themselves when they started it. Like, of course, I don't understand the rules and things that may be in place or the promises that were made that didn't. But, to even get this far, someone had to, uh, hit first, make the move first.
It
And
was it
so,
was the West. So what the reason why we
Ukraine didn't attack Russia, though. Russia attacked Ukraine
it
first.
was right. But why was Ukraine attacked? Because they were trying to be part of NATO, and Russia and the West agreed a long time ago that they would not keep pushing NATO closer to Russia's border. And so they because that kept, basically this has been going on for since Obama, basically. Um, I don't know if you remember in Trump's first term when they had that whole uh, scandal with him with the quid pro quo in Ukraine and them finding out information on Biden that he was running against and stuff like that. That this is how far back this stuff goes. Like I said, it goes even further back than that, where you have the West basically using Ukraine as a proxy to Russia for them to push further into that territory that was already agreed upon that they would stay out of. So
Mhm.
as they kept pushing and pushing and pushing further, further, further to get into Ukraine, which is essentially Russia's back door. That's like, I don't know if you remember hearing about or learning about um, the Cuban Missile Crisis here
Mhm.
in the United States years ago. What was the cause of
Mhm.
that? Russia was trying to get close to Cuba so that they could put their nukes basically in America's backyard. And that's the same thing that was happening there. We make Ukraine part of NATO. Russia views that as, well, you putting nukes in my backyard. So that's where all of this is coming from, and why I say Russia's defending themselves, because as we know how the dominant society works, they'll say one thing and then renege on that thing that they said that they were going to do. And Russia knows that because they know how these people are. They know the kind of people that we're talking about, that they are not capable of keeping their word at all.
Mhm.
So that's where this is coming from. That's where they were provoked by the West. Just like we talk about what happened with Israel and Gaza. Well, Israel has had the Palestinians in Gaza in a open prison camp known as Gaza, and have been controlling their resources and what they can do, and treating the people as all kinds of, they've basically been using it as like a prison camp. And so you think that you can continue to do that to people and they won't resist. I don't know what kind of hubris you think you have, but yeah, at some point, that's you bottle up that stuff, is going to come to a head, and that's what we're seeing all across the world.
Mhm.
It's just been a series, the chain of things that have happened that led up to these events, and all, unfortunately, most Americans see is, oh well, I didn't see this happen first, so why did they attack it? Well, that's because Western media keeps us in the dark, and we don't know what all is really going on until some shit happens, and then we're like, oh, why did this happen? They must be the bad guys because they went in and did this, and now they killing a whole bunch of quote unquote innocent people.
Mhm.
And if we really learned about like what's going on, and like, again, you talk about Gaza and Israel, how long that shit's been going on, I'm surprised it hasn't happened sooner than this. And the only reason that it did happen was because the leadership in Israel wanted it to happen. That wouldn't have happened without the leadership in Israel knowing what was about to go down. They knew what was going to happen that day in October. They allowed it to happen because Netanyahu, Bibi, before that day in October, he was about to go to jail. He was sitting in court, like how Trump was sitting in court, dealing with his court in Israel because the people were fed up with him and they were about to lock his ass up before all of this happened. So you can't tell me that he ain't drawing this war out, trying to expand the war into other Middle Eastern countries. So he's protecting his own ass, and he's got at least 4 years to continue to do this because he can still hit up Trump and get all the resources that he wants to do that.
Mhm.
So just like
Okay.
we're using Ukraine as a proxy, we're kind of using Israel as a proxy, but at the same time, Israel's telling us what to do. So it's a real weird relationship right now.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sure that it is kind of weird, especially since the whole thing with getting the plane from uh Qatar, and Qatar is working with Hamas, and and we're
Yeah,
supposed to have this relationship with Israel.
and
Yes,
and
it's
see, that's
very.
all of that is where Israel is upset because Trump is having these conversations without Israel at the table. So then
Mm-hmm.
that's where BB's feeling some type of way because he's like, well, we supposed to be on the same team, but Trump is also fed up with the whole situation because he's tired of dealing with it. You know,
Right.
he's tired of dealing with the war. The simple solution for me would be just stop sending them damn weapons and shit. Stop giving them money. But I don't know. That doesn't seem to be what's happening. So
Uh,
yeah, I don't know. We'll have to
Well,
continue to watch and see how this develops. But 2 weeks will be here sooner than you know.
yep. Yes, it will.
Hmm.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, last thing on our topic here because we're getting into an hour and a half. Um,
Oh,
well, yeah. Uh, Department of Justice uncovers snap fraud. Ooh, so you hear all this talk about fraud and abuse. Oh, excuse me, I'm gassy. Anyways, you have this USDA employees. Where is this from? Let me go back to the actual thing. Yeah, Department of Justice.
okay.
USDA and five others charged in multi-million dollar USDA employees, excuse me, and five others charged in multi-million dollar food stamp fraud and bribery scheme. Uh
Multi-million dollar. Heavy on the multi.
oh, we'll get there.
Mm-hmm.
um, the special agent in charge of the U.S. Department of Agriculture Office of Inspector General and Christopher Ria, the assistant director in charge of the New York field office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, announced the unsealing of a superseding indictment charging six individuals in connection with a sprawling fraud and bribery scheme that generated over 66 million in unauthorized transactions under the supplemental nutrition assistance program, also known as SNAP.
And
Colloquially
mind you,
known
I
as
can't even get
CJS.
a hamburger in the morning.
Okay. This is one of the largest food stamps frauds in U.S. history. And now here, listen to these defendants' names. Now I'm gonna read off their names because they have them here. Michael Kehoe, Kehoe, Muhammad Nawafle, Omar Al Rawashdeh, Gamal Obaid, Obaid, Imad Al Sharedeh, same as the other Omar. So you have Omar and Imad El Saradeh. Both of them have the same last name. And Arlasa Davis. Now, family, I don't know about you, but none of those names sounded like they were of the United States names.
Mm-mm.
What do you think, Big Papa? Did they sound like they were of the United States? Born
No,
or descendants
I don't.
of?
I don't know none of those. They
Yeah.
sound like they're from Africa though. Mm.
It does sound like they are from overseas somewhere. I would wager Africa as well if I didn't know any better. But um, I just find it very interesting that these six Africans were able to get away with 66 million. Well, not really get away with, but for however long they were doing this, 66 million in SNAP benefits. Um, it says here Michael Kehoe, that's the first person that was named, and his co conspirators misappropriated tens of millions of dollars in taxpayer funds meant to help low income families put food on the table, said U.S. Attorney Perry Carbone. This fraud was made possible when USDA employee Arlasa Davis betrayed the public trust by selling confidential government information to the very criminals she was supposed to catch. Their actions undermined a program that vulnerable New Yorkers depend on for basic nutrition. So this is primarily in New York. These charges should be a reminder that those who exploit anti poverty programs for personal gain will be held accountable for their crimes. Well, then, I must say, uh, shout out to the shout out to the attorney of the United States and uh, special agent of the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the New York field office of the FBI. Shout out to y'all for catching these criminals that happen to be working for y'all. That is the part that gets me. So,
Hmm.
it's hard for black people to get these kinds of jobs at USDA and shit like that. But y'all will hire all these damn Africans that are known to be scammers. Y'all know where these people come from. And then be like, oh my God, 66 million. For one, how 66 million? That's a lot of fucking money.
Hmm. It sounds like a
How?
whole bunch of accounts. Sounds
It,
like it's a lot of accounts, and all of those accounts was getting that immigrant money because they was getting
okay.
they was getting food stamp money just for being in them hotels over there in New York City. So it sounds like a whole bunch of accounts was made with a whole bunch of a food stamp cards
Well, I got how it
and
happened. I got how it
mhm.
happened. So it actually started.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it says starting in 2019, Kehoe orchestrated a network that supplied approximately 160 unauthorized EBD terminals. Oh, they were using those skimming things to stores across the New York area to illegally process more than 30 million in EBT transactions. Working with his co-defendants, Nawafle Omar, blah 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 blah, submitted approximately 200 fraudulent USDA applications, misappropriating USDA license numbers and in some cases doctoring application documents to obtain EBT terminals for unauthorized stores, including smoke shops and other ineligible businesses. Critical to the scheme was Arlasa Davis, a longtime USDA employee who worked within the very division of the USDA responsible for identifying SNAP fraud. Davis abused her privileged access to federal systems to sell hundreds of EBT license numbers, enabling over 36 million in fraudulent SNAP redemptions at unauthorized stores. Wow. Davis photographed handwritten lists of license numbers intended for qualifying stores with their personal cell phone and funneled them into an intermediary who sold them to co-conspirators, including Nawafle, Omar, blah 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 blah, who then used those license numbers to fraudulently obtain EBT terminals for stores that were not authorized by the USDA to process SNAP transactions. In return, Davis received substantial bribes that were disguised in communications as, among other things, birthday gifts and flowers. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Kehoe, 46 of Long Island. Nawafle, 34 of the Bronx. Omar Aladuesh, 37 of the Bronx. Obaid, 39 of the Bronx. The other Aldawesh, 37 of the Bronx. And Davis, 56. Davis was the oldest one working there. Of Gardner, New York. I guess she lived in the suburbs. Are each charged with one count of conspiracy to steal government funds and misappropriate USDA benefits. Man,
Mm.
one count for
Well,
bribery, which carries a maximum sentence of 15 years in prison, and one count of conspiracy. Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah. So I mean, that shit. That's
if they're legal Americans, then they'll be in the feds, which they say the feds get treated better than like the state prisons. And I mean, but from what I heard, that Trump is ending anyone who is an illegal in the prison system, that they are, instead of allowing them to serve their full sentence, he's putting them on buses and packing them out. So that news came out this week as well, that a lot of these prisoners are, any foreign prisoners are being released and sent either to their home country or sent to El Salvador or to the Panamanian forest where they are sending people, or to that country in Africa that they sent them to.
Well,
South Sudan, South Sudan.
well,
So
I
if they are legal Americans, then they will be in prison. But if not, I don't see them serving that full thing. But I do see them being sent back to Africa or where the fuck they came from.
yeah, I mean, they were already taking enough resources from American citizens, so yeah, I don't think we need to be feeding them in prison. So, good riddance if they are. That either way, that's still crazy to me that they were.
Yeah, that is crazy. That's gonna be a movie. Watch. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a movie.
no, yeah, that's crazy. That's really crazy.
I bet that lady, when women fuck up in their position, it's never them wanting to do it for themselves. Always some man gets her all confused and thinking that she's in love, and they take advantage of her in her position. I guarantee you, she probably, out of them six people, five of them, one of them, she was doing something with.
Yeah,
Now that's all
probably.
allegedly. I don't know, but women, when a man's genitals is involved in a situation and it's through a woman, you can almost believe some type of intercourse occurred with one of those men who convinced her to to do these terminals and all of that.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guarantee you that's probably what it was.
But you know what else I want to know, Big Papa? All of these businesses that more than likely these people are connected to, they probably
Hmm.
know the business owner that got these
Yeah, they
terminals.
probably family members and stuff. Yep.
Exactly. So like all of that money that they got, so like they got millions of dollars, and being able to use uh again receiving snap money that they should not have been getting. What happens with those people now? Like, are those businesses, are they gonna be held accountable somehow, or are we just gonna deal with these people? Like, what about the money? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, whoever got their card scammed, they got the money back, probably put back on their
No, no,
card.
no, 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 no. What this was?
Because you said they were
No,
skimming
no.
the
I did say that. I
terminals.
said that. I said that, but I was wrong. What it was, they were getting. Okay, so say you had a liquor store, right?
Yeah.
You can't use EBT at liquor store. What they were doing was saying this liquor store is a grocery store and allowing people to use their EBT at the liquor store.
Right.
But so they weren't getting their money back after using their card. You see what I'm saying? They were using.
Oh well, I thought you were trying to say that
Yeah, no, I was when I
they
said
were skimming the cards.
yeah, no, no, I was wrong. I did say that, but I was trying to correct it. No,
Okay.
they were okay. They were unauthorized EBT terminals to stores across New York to illegally process EBT transactions.
Okay.
So
Well, yeah,
basic,
I have seen that before. I
yeah,
haven't
it does
seen
happen,
people
absolutely.
using alcohol for it, but I have seen in delis
Yeah.
particularly here in North Carolina,
Hmm.
allegedly, unallegedly, allegedly, that when they can't sell that hot food back
Hmm.
there,
Hmm.
then they'll swipe your EBT card
Hmm.
and still sell you the hot food with
Well,
your
see,
EBT card.
and see,
Which technically, in some states, that's not legal.
right,
You can't buy hot food with EBT. Here in North Carolina, you cannot do that,
right.
but in other places, you can.
Yeah. So that's where they were in that instance, like what you're talking about. They have the
Mhm.
ability to take EBT. That's why you see on the doors we take EBT and shit like that. You don't
Mhm.
see that everywhere you go, right? You only see it in certain places. They were able to get the authorization to take EBT
Mhm.
and charge it for whatever else. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Like in that instance, like what you was talking about with the hot food, they probably would bring it up as like a cold item.
Cold food.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's where these people here, it was a. I'm just assuming it could have been like a alcohol, but they did say smoke shops. So you had the smoke shop, and you was buying whatever at the smoke shop, and they was charging it as something you could get as an EBT item. You see, that's the issue.
Yeah.
So what I'm
Mhm.
saying
Food and
is,
stuff.
right. So I'm saying these owners of like the smoke shops that they said here in this article
Mhm.
are are they gonna who are more than likely related to these same people is what I'm saying.
Mhm. Yeah.
Who how
Mhm.
so you already got the people that were doing the crime. Now what about those businesses that were taking the money? What are you gonna do about them? You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm asking you.
Yeah.
Like, are you
I
going to go after
mean,
those business owners to get that money back since they were the ones processing and taking that money? This has
yeah.
been going on since 2019, so you've had at least six
Mhm.
years of this, and so you know,
But the
I highly
problem
doubt.
today is that it's corporate law, not criminal. So when you're dealing with companies, they don't
I'm
get
sorry, who are you?
Hold on. What? What's
out
going on?
of it or how.
Oh, you're a
Oh, you.
speaker.
Oh, hello. I didn't realize you. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah. Hold on.
What's going on? How are you,
Mm,
sir? Was it Old
I'm
May?
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. You enjoying the conversation?
yeah, it was good. Yeah, I just want. It's hard for cops to show up and arrest a corporation. So it goes into corporate law.
Yeah, I mean, but it does happen, right? Like, I mean, I'm not saying a cop can go in and, I mean,
Yeah, well, usually what happens is they get the person spending money because they're committing fraud,
yeah,
but they're committing fraud as a citizen, not a company.
I see what you're saying.
There's two different courts. There's two different types of courts. So when you take corporations to court, the, if you ever start an LLC and you start a company and your company gets sued, I'm just letting you know, corporate attorneys are triple the amount of public defend like public.
Right.
right.
So they're like it's a much more expensive representation. But yeah, that's probably why the business owners are going to be like, well, a little bit more of the back burner. What they're going to try to do is they're going to try to get that person to cop a plea, or you know how the game is. I got to tell you,
Yeah, I mean, so that's my thing, though, right? Like,
it's all fraud. The whole country, the whole entire country has been defrauding everyone. There's very little honesty left.
that's very true. Well, you're not wrong about that. We agree 100%. It's just, it seems like this is one of those situations where the rich get richer, right? Like they've been proven that they've been doing this over amount of, 6 years or so, right? I'm just assuming 6 years. It says from 2019. Um, but like they've surely been able to continue to keep that money and invest it and do other things and triple 10x it, whatever. How, how is America going to be made whole with the financial side of it? Yeah, you
No,
got these people locked up, but that money's gone. That's not okay. That's what I'm saying. And it's not like these
no,
people
yeah,
are,
you're right.
are
No,
poor. We're not talking about like people that don't have resources. Like I think if anything, all of their businesses should be shut down and they shouldn't be able to open any other businesses ever. They shouldn't be able to open any other LLCs because they literally defrauded the American government, the federal government. So
But you know what they'll do? They'll go and change their business name or get a new business and operate it up underneath that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, if the
They sure
government was
will.
worth a damn, they would actually make sure that that couldn't happen. And you know,
Hmm.
but hey, you're right. I mean, America is all about making that dollar. So yeah,
What it
it,
is, you have the society has to be okay with very strict laws.
mm.
The problem with America is that there's a protester for every crime. There's always somebody willing to go out there and cause a ruckus over something, whether
yeah,
you agree with it or not. There's plenty. It's just the way it is.
yeah.
So you get these people that commit crimes, right? The EBT person committed a crime. The company committed a crime, and now you're like, well, how about this? If you ever have had any crime, you're not eligible for EBT. You've been proven as an untrustworthy individual.
Mm-hmm.
The same standard it is for you to be an untrustworthy individual to own a company.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine the protest. Oh, I need this. This is how I eat. This is how I feed my kids.
Yeah, but business versus assistance are two different things, right? Like, yeah, if you've been shown that you're untrustworthy, uh, and you
Or
were,
how
you know, you did that with
how about
business.
that? It's because you know if you have 8 kids, you're going to get EBT cards for every one of them. How
Say that.
about just the plain premeditation of taking advantage and being coached through the public aid system, the free housing, the free food, the free everything? The United States of America incentivizes people um, to remain poor.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
Healthcare, the food stamps, the public housing. If you're not able to really achieve something in your life, either it's because of education or just pure will, it's just easier to remain poor. And then there's programs that you can. What's harder, working 3 jobs or being on food stamps?
Yeah, I get that, and I mean, America is designed to keep you where you are. It doesn't really want you to advance, right? Um,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
I agree 100% with that. Um, Now, not everybody that is on aid is, there's things that happen, life happens, why people need help every so often. But yeah, it's not meant to be a forever thing. But you have people that are obviously taking advantage of the program, and the sad thing, the
Yeah.
reason that this caught my attention was because of you had the people that were working inside the government that were supposed to protect the American people from this type of fraud that has been ongoing since 2019. So, yeah.
Oh, they're the ones in on it. Yeah,
Hmm. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
always it's always a side job. Well, the demographics of civil servants is what they are.
Well,
Usually,
yeah.
people that work a government job is the sure way step up the ladder of getting into the lower or middle income bracket.
Hmm. Hmm.
So usually, you're dealing with people who come from a poverty background, who are hired on affirmative action rules, and once they get the job, very few of them ever get fired. There's no accountability, right? The inmates are running the asylum. You can just look at the DMV. It's the post office. It's a complete disaster.
Well, that was the other thing that I was saying is looking at the names of these folks here that are involved with it. You could tell all of them are from some kind of foreign background, and
Yeah,
so it's like that's where these are the people that are making the decisions, and we the
yeah.
people are just in the background, not really knowing what happens until it happens,
Or
right?
we're conducting commerce. That's the thing. We're doing commerce. We're in commercial activity
Mm-hmm.
where the government employee are being civil servants.
Mm-hmm.
So the people with all the power are civil servants. The people that pay all the taxes are the ones doing commerce.
Mm-hmm.
So the power is always with the civil servants, the police officers, the judges, court of appeals, your treasury, your politicians. Those are all the people that decide what goes on. We go out to work and we just pay the taxes that pay their salary.
Yeah.
And there's been more and more overreach. And I think what a lot of young people are coming to a point is that it doesn't matter Republican or Democrat. They're both corrupt.
Yes. Yes.
This is not, oh, Democrat bad, Republican bad. This is both are bad.
Hmm. Yeah.
Both parties are lying and stealing from us,
Hmm.
and this is why you have people that favor small government where there isn't any of this. Why do we need a Department of Transportation? Why are we not able to make our own decisions on roads?
Well.
We have to pay somebody all this fucking money to look what look at the last 4 years. That guy Peter Buttigieg, he didn't do jack shit.
Yeah.
We had we had more train accidents.
Hmm.
People forget about what happened in Ohio with that fucking bomb going off that nobody talks about. But
Yeah.
uh,
In East
you know,
Palestine.
he didn't do anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and see, that's where the idea I think of a lot of these different. You talk about Department of Transportation, Department of Education, Food and Drug Administration. All of these different government agencies are, if they actually did their jobs of, doing what they were supposed to do to protect the people, that would be amazing. Unfortunately, they aren't there for that, as we, already discussed. You have these people in positions that they're just there to grift. They're not there to really do anything else besides that. And it's come to a point now where nothing's getting done. You talk about Department of Education, the kids are graduating school and don't know how to add and subtract, let alone read a full sentence.
Oh, they're done. Oh yeah, America's cooked.
Yeah. And so
So
that's where my point is like these same organizations that if they were actually, if America was followed its own rules, we would have a hell of a country. That's all I'm saying.
we have no. This country has no future. There's no
America
future
is
here.
doomed.
There's not. This isn't even a country.
Yeah.
This is a social advocacy.
Mhm. Mhm.
We basically are an economy of social advocates. These people deserve this. This people deserve that. These people deserve this. We didn't get this. We should have that. Why are you getting more than me? Right? Like that's America's policy. That's what people say. That's what they talk about.
Mhm.
Why are people here that aren't supposed to be here getting $20,000 a month and free housing? Right?
Yeah.
It's over. You literally have too much the the amount of advocacy that goes on in this country. I don't care what people group it is. Everybody's got a lawyer. Everybody's getting treated unfairly. But when you go to a country, let's use a country like China, they don't have any of this.
Mhm.
Maybe people disagree, but when everybody wakes up, they have to do a job.
Mhm.
There is no option to just not do a job. You
Yeah.
have to provide, or they pretty much kick you out of society and you move out into the country.
Yeah.
So they don't allow their inner cities to be populated with unproductive people and
Mhm.
drug addicts. They force the people in the city to be productive. And if you want to be unproductive, you have to go out into the country,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? Because the cities are what is the main economic driver. That's all your commerce.
Yeah.
We're the complete opposite. All the poor people live in the city, and all the rich people live out in the woods.
That
Yes.
is true.
So true. Very true.
We can't even have nice cities. We can't
Mhm.
have nice neighborhoods. We can't have anything because if you touch a drug addict who's sleeping on the street and pooping himself, uh, the police is violating his civil rights.
Mhm.
And then there's a lawyer there to be an advocate.
Yeah.
In China, that's not tolerated. No, you're a drug addict. We'll take you out of the city. You
Mhm.
can't, kind of with the exiling people out of society when they can't behave. If
Yeah.
you cannot behave in society, you have to be removed. It's no different than taking the disruptive child out of a class.
That's true.
The rest of us want to learn. You're being disruptive.
Mhm. Mhm.
But we're never going to get this back. It's
Yeah.
over.
Yeah. No, I don't see where America is gonna reverse course, or course correct, as it were.
There's more people protest with foreign flags in this country than they protest with the American flag.
Yes. Yeah.
No one's protesting on behalf of America. And if you did have 1 million people show up waving the American flag, they would all be called extremist Nazis.
Mm.
They'd be like, "Oh, look at the Nazis! Oh, look at the racists! Oh, look at the sexists!" That's
Yeah.
what they would be. The American flag is offensive to people in this country.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
People get offended by the American flag, and then they wave the Mexican flag or they wave the Puerto Rican flag. I would make it illegal to have any other flag on public display.
I've heard that argument before. I get it. I get that argument.
Either we're a country or we're not.
Mhm. Mhm. I mean,
And
you
I don't
couldn't you
think,
couldn't do the same thing in these other places, right? You wouldn't be able to
oh,
wave other flags like that like you can here. So yeah,
no.
I know that.
Everyone else can be nationalist, but Americans.
Mhm. Yeah.
If you're a black guy that does it, you're an Uncle Tom, right? If you're a white guy that does it, you're a racist. If you're a Hispanic that does it, they call you something.
Mhm.
It's
Mhm.
just there's always somebody there to point out like you're born a race without a choice. Why is this such a big deal? Because lawyers make money on it.
Yeah. Well, lawyers are kind of a necessary evil in America, unfortunately.
Yeah, but social advocacy has destroyed America.
Mhm.
Social advocacy has destroyed America because you're never going to get back the patriotism. There's no patriot. Who's going to fight a war? So what does everyone expect? All of the people from the middle of the country that wave the American flag to go fight the war, while all the immigrants get to just sit in New York City and do nothing?
Mm.
How are you going to fight a war? How are you going to
Maybe
build any?
maybe that's why they're trying to give citizenship so that they can go fight in their wars. What do you think?
I think this you wouldn't want them fighting in your war anyway.
Hell no. As soon as something went left, they'd be fighting on the other side or running away.
Yeah, they have no lot. You can't have a group of people that have no loyalty to a flag.
Yeah, they
A
fled from
flag.
wherever they came from. So yeah, that tells you a lot right
There's
there,
no
honestly.
loyalty.
So yeah.
Yeah, even if you took 20 million, let's just say you took 2 million illegal immigrants and made them military members.
Hmm.
What are they going to do? They're not going to go die on the front lines of a country.
We just
They're
gave
just
them
they're there.
arms. That's what we did.
They're not going to. If they were willing to do that, they would have stayed. They would have did that at their own country, right? Like if they were willing to fight the government, they would have fought their own government.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you're getting the cowards, right?
Hmm.
Like you're getting like the people that were not able to be successful wherever they're from.
Hmm.
You're not getting the best of the best immigrants.
Yeah, no, that's definitely been. You've heard that a lot in the news recently as well.
Right? It's it's cooked, dude. And this is just like from a point of realism. Like, can you imagine being 90 years old and having someone now who's 10 or 20, and then
Hmm.
they're the ones that take? Could you imagine being an elder in a nursing home and having some of these people take care of you?
Yeah, no,
Think about,
it's a scary thought. This is the future, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So these conversations are good to have, but I think we have to just look at this as you're on your own. The
Hmm.
government is completely cooked.
Hmm.
Your local politicians are just looking for another vote.
Yeah.
Get what you can get and get the fuck out of the city.
Hmm.
If you can
Yeah.
get out of the city, get out of the city.
No, I've been telling a lot of people that that if you can get out of the city area, like you're doing yourself a huge favor. So yeah.
Yeah, get somewhere where it's calm and collect. And when society starts to break down more, because it will. I mean, you can just look at the TikTok videos. More and
Yeah.
more people are living in cars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like this, just the epidemic of like people living in their cars. They can't afford rent, school debt. These are the new wave of parents.
Mm.
These are it's the you can tell the future of a country when you look at its youth.
Yeah.
Look at the kids. Look at the kids that are 15. That's the future.
Mm-hmm.
It ain't
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, considering that compared to China, as we talked about, and Russia, the 15-year-olds there, they're trying to be the next, you know, doctor,
They're all
rocket
engineers.
scientist, what have you. And
They're
ours
all
over here trying to be TikTok
TikTok.
influencers and shit. So yeah, we
Yeah,
are
we have
cooked.
we have absolutely zero, and it's just that it's the simple fact of it is like the Chinese have a really high IQ by average,
Hmm.
and the people that are in this country. So we all know the people that produce the most are the ones that are stupid, right? Because they have a lot of unprotected sex, they're impulsive, right?
Hmm.
Um, and they're not financially able to take care of children, right? Where the people that have higher edge high IQs, they have less children because they're busy with work. They want to be financially responsible. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right or wrong, it does. But there's all these social things that go with it. So if you got five dumb people for every one that's born smart, China's the complete opposite.
Yeah. No,
It's
totally.
like every kid that comes out, they have like they have an average IQ that can
Hmm.
learn how to do something.
And
Some of
there's a
these people,
desire to learn too. Yeah, there that
yeah,
isn't here too with that. Yeah.
well,
So.
they're going to be told to learn.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're not going to have a choice. You're going to go to school and you're going to because it's still a very highly, socially, they don't play around with that shit.
Right. Right.
They're not coming home to a mom. They're not coming home to a situation where an American kid is.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Just a much better society.
Big Papa and I
And
were
I don't think
talking
it's
about
racist.
how
I don't think it's
parents.
racist.
Yeah, we were talking about how parents don't really have time for their children, and to your point, where they come home, uh, parents are too exhausted because they've been at their jobs all day or whatever the case is. So they don't really even know who their
Oh,
children are.
mom and dad are unhealthy. They're eating all this bad food. They're sitting in traffic. The air's
Mm,
dirty.
yeah, yeah,
Like all this stuff adds up. They got social media. They're stressed out because they're not making enough money.
yeah.
And then they got their half retarded kid over there that fucking can't do math and they don't even know the math. How
Yeah.
many Americans right now do you think could pass an algebra test?
Mm, yeah.
So when little Jimmy comes home with algebra, who's helping him?
That's the school's
That,
job. They're supposed to teach you everything you need to know.
that's what the parish says. I remember being a kid and mom and dad would sit there at the table and do the homework with me if I needed help, right? Like that, they were there for me.
Hmm.
And then there was also friends' houses I went over to and he was cooking himself dinner.
Hmm. Hmm.
His mom and dad were working.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's very
So
true.
the future of this country, this whole racial thing, this whole uh people aren't good enough, blah blah blah. No. What it is that the school system failed. The economic conditions failed. We sold this country to the third world for cheap labor so we can get cheap tennis shoes. And now the third world has everything and we have nothing, i.e. China. China was nothing in 1960.
Hmm.
Go back and look how poor China was in 1960. We built
Hmm.
China,
Hmm.
and now we have nothing, and we're asking China to build us.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And then you
And,
also
that,
have bricks working in the background. So yeah, that's gonna
and
be
now you
very
have war.
interesting.
So yeah, it's sad, but there is no future.
Yeah, like you
This is
said,
not.
it's a personal responsibility at this point. So everyone's got to
Yeah,
take care of themselves and their family, and really make sure that they're prepared for whatever's coming down the road, regardless of whoever's in charge, right?
Yeah, 'cause Trump's not going to be able to fix this. And listen, I voted for Trump. Is what it is. Trump's not going to be able to fix this, and I know that. I just
Hmm.
wanted somebody to close the fucking borders.
There we go.
400,000 people, 400,000 children went missing.
Mm,
400,000 children gone. Where are they?
hmm.
And that's Joe Biden's borders. Forget about little Maria trying to clean bathrooms to try to make her life. We're not talking about her. Yeah, she should not be here. But the real issue of the open borders are all the people that were raped and murdered and kidnapped.
Yeah, yeah.
And nobody talks about that. They try once again, you let the advocacy go, and then all the Democrats care about is flooding the fucking streets with people who will vote for them. That's all
Hmm.
they cared about because they want to remain in power. The Republicans want the public Republicans want to keep the consensus is low. So they don't want the illegals in because they'll lose seats.
Hmm. Yeah,
And then that's their voting platform to stay in power. But they both sold the country out.
yeah, yeah. Sadly, that's what
George
they
Bush
did.
sold this country out. Dick Cheney sold this country out.
Mm, yeah.
Barack Obama, you want to talk about Israel committing genocide? Go study how many bombs Barack Obama dropped.
Oh
He was
yeah,
dropping like 30,000 bombs a year
yeah, yeah,
for 8 years.
yeah. Obama definitely was
A
the
fucking
porter in
bloodthirsty.
chief, and yeah, he did a whole lot. Didn't do a lot for black folks though. That's for sure.
He's not.
He's
That was
not.
another thing about. He wasn't.
Not at all. Hmm.
There hasn't been a real black leader in this country since Malcolm X.
Yeah. No, you're yeah. Mm.
Martin Luther King wasn't real. Martin Luther King, that speech was written by a Jewish man.
Hmm.
The "I Have a Dream" speech was not written by MLK. He was a socialist, and Martin Luther King was a socialist. He was a communist. You can go back and read it.
To
Don't take my
to
word.
to Martin Luther King's defense, he did realize towards the end of his life that he was leading his people into a burning building. So he did realize closer towards the end of his life, which is probably why that happened.
Yeah, well, it's good. I mean,
And I mean, also I can add though, like being able to see a new black leader, that's not possible
Mm-mm.
in 2025 because, like you said, that person will be
you'll never
seen
have
as a terrorist or um,
yeah.
trying to cause havoc in America. And pinpoint blank, they're not going to have that.
Yeah.
Black people will never have a world leader again, ever.
And I
They
don't think
had
we
their
really need one either because that's what it'll create a target that the powers that shouldn't be would basically exploit or kill or whatever the case may be. So I don't even think you have anyone that wants to be like in that position at all.
well, I get to so Mayor Scott for Baltimore and Westmore. I live in Maryland,
Oh.
and Maryland has black leadership. Baltimore City has had a black mayor for 45 years, and the city is horrible.
Mhm.
Elijah Cummings was disgusting,
Mhm.
and the stuff that he did to black people was immoral.
Mhm.
The problem with black people is that they hate each other, and it is what it is.
When you
They
say we
tell you
hate
on
each
TV
other, what you mean? What you mean by hate each other?
when a black man tries to step out. We'll use Tim Scott for an example,
Mhm.
or we'll use the other gentleman from Florida, the other black guy from Florida.
Um.
Yep. I can't remember his.
Byron Donalds. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Republican
Byron.
dude. Yeah. Uh
Yep. So when you have black men that come to the Republican side,
huh. Mhm.
the people that beat them up the most are their own blacks. The whites embrace them.
Mhm. Well,
They call them Uncle Toms.
well, that's because to a certain extent you got to look at like what those people do and how they act. For one, Byron Donalds, he also is not black. He's Panamanian or something. His family, his lineage is that. So that's the other thing too, right? Where we're just talking about having these people that aren't Americans in positions of power. That's another example right there. Tim Scott, um, he's just never proven to ever be a real black man ever. Not.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. It's like this is exactly what I'm saying. Wes Moore, Wes Moore, the leader of Maryland, the governor of Maryland right now, voted against trying to get reparations.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We talked about that a couple of
Mayor Scott,
things ago.
Mayor Scott for Baltimore City has done a
Hmm.
horrific job in Baltimore. Baltimore is a 65% black city.
Yeah.
It, there's no white people basically in Baltimore City. It's either black or Hispanic.
Hmm.
White people have left the city. It's
Yeah.
dangerous. It's underfunded. It's poorly educated. And they are not doing anything to turn it around. And white people have not been in control of that city for almost 50 years. It isn't like white people did that.
Hmm.
Baltimore has always been a black city.
Hmm.
And Maryland has always been a black state because this was the first state where when they came up from the South that did not practice slavery.
Yeah, it was right on the Mason Dixon line. Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone stopped here.
Hmm.
So this is where the black people stopped. Some went to New York, some went to Chicago, some kept going north, but the
Right.
majority of black people from Carolina and Georgia and Virginia
Hmm.
and Florida, they stopped in Maryland. Maryland's always been black.
Hmm. 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 Yeah.
And even the richest black county in the country, which is Prince George's County, Maryland,
Yeah.
which I don't live far away from, rich as shit, 98% black. Rich. I mean, rich as you're going to get. Richest black county in America, to like a million population, still has extreme amount of crime. It's ridiculous amount of crime compared to the county that's not all black. This is not. This is not. This is just is what it is at this point. You can't hide the numbers anymore. And you also have a lot of white people that are just what they call fatigued. The race card is done. It's expired. No one wants to hear it. No one cares. It's 2025. And I believe that the country has become more racist now than it was in 1995. In 1995, people actually got along. But now it's completely like we need to go, like, it's at the point where I think majority of people are willing to go back to segregation.
Yeah, I've heard
And
some
and I
arguments on
do
that.
truly believe that that's what the black community is going to get, is that what's going to happen is whites are just going to leave them, and then it's going to be a black and Hispanic communities. But the problem there is that the Hispanics and the blacks don't get along.
But I mean, you already said we're segregated. I mean, we are segregated. You just said like the white folks are out of that area and the black and Hispanics are already in one area. I mean, here in
That's how
North Carolina, you've got black people living in certain parts, white people. I mean, America's already segregated.
in South Carolina, there are black malls and white malls.
Mm-hmm.
This is true.
Mm-hmm.
And guess who doesn't go to the black malls? But guess who goes to the white malls?
I mean, that's a choice.
No, no, Jay, it's a safety issue. If I were to go
But it's
into a
still a
mall,
choice. You could always look.
it's a
If you're
safety.
talking about South Carolina, that's not even. You can open carry, conceal carry. You can do whatever you want to do. So it's safety. I don't believe that.
So the point of it is that being around large groups of black people is dangerous.
I don't feel comfortable being around large groups of white people, being the only black person. So
When's the, what? That's fine, but
mhm.
statistically,
So my
being
point is, I think that if you were talking about being a minority in around people that aren't you, then yeah, that's pretty normal. But I don't think that's
I I,
that
I don't
typically
know.
because of
I
somebody.
don't feel like black people are going to hurt me.
Oh, really? Okay.
It's the fact that they shoot at each other so often. I live in Baltimore, Jay.
Uh-huh.
I don't
Yeah.
think that the black guy's going to hurt me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Majority of the time, they're not even going to pay attention to the white guy. They're like,
Correct.
whatever,
Yeah, you're
because they
right.
know majority of the time they're not going to care. They're like, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The fact is, you're going to be in a situation where they start shooting at each other.
I mean that's not like a everyday thing though. Like I mean,
Everyday thing
black
in
people
Baltimore.
just don't be shooting at each other
Yeah,
like
they
that. Like
do.
what you talking about sounds like some gang stuff or like some people that's like some
So
people that know
do
each
yourself
other
a
and
favor.
have beef with each other. But like as a whole, you just don't
Okay,
find black people going around shooting each other. I don't think that's no.
But
Jay.
I mean, I think that that all falls back on who's raising the children because, like we were saying previously,
Mm-hmm.
prior in this episode, is that um who's raising the children, and what it is that these video games is what's raising the children, and in these video games, the most popular games are the ones where you're shooting each other. You
Right.
know,
I agree with that.
so so on one hand, it's like, okay, yes, guns are out here. Yes, people are committing violence, but who was responsible for creating a device like a Game Boy or a PlayStation or Xbox and creating these M-rated games that allows these children to be able to just run havoc online in different groups. I mean, I remember a time when you would go to GameStop and get a game, and if the game had an M-rated symbol on it, your parent had to buy it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So they've also allowed for this generation to be able to do whatever they want to do, and now people glorify having all of these different type of guns. Me myself, I have a handful of firearms because being out here in the public, you can't trust anybody. You don't know who's going to walk up on you and say whatever and do whatever. You have to be protected.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think that we would do better being segregated? Yes, we would, because then the love would be um spread out more to us individually. And that, I think that white people have their ideals and have their mind set up on how they want their communities to be pretty crunchy, and black people, we just live two different lives, and I think that we would see a lot less crime in all racial groups if we were separated from each other for a while.
Okay, yeah. Well, that just means you know what that means, right? You can't hire white people to do anything for you.
I don't now.
That's my point. Yeah,
So
that's fine.
I mean, but I think that
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 means
goes
trust.
to us. That
That
goes
means
to a lot of black people putting white people on a planister that, like, on a banister that they provide the best service and they provide the best food and they provide the best all of these things, and our resources and the being able to find a black electrician and a black HVAC specialist is very difficult to find, because in those communities we're not really taught to do a trade, you know?
what do you mean
So,
not taught? So trade school is somewhere
mhm.
you go and you pay and take classes.
Right. So where
Our
is the money for that coming from? Because the black
white
community doesn't
people,
have
our
it.
white people, all of basically white people pay the majority of taxes in America.
Well, y'all are the majority, so yeah, that makes sense. You have
Well,
the
we also
bigger
income earners,
population than any other
but
group
also
of people in
the
America,
highest
so yeah,
income.
you would pay the
So
most
when
in
I mean
taxes.
isolationist, I mean that our tax dollars don't even fund your social programs. We totally take away everything and leave you to yourselves.
Well, yeah, all of the resources go
So
to
where
other
how are all
things. So
these
yeah.
white people going to afford rent next month? Because they all live in white people houses. Majority of projects are owned by whites. Majority of low income rentals are owned by whites or Asians.
Hmm.
So where are you going to live? You're not living in white people's houses. I don't think people understand if this world ever happened, where are you living and who's paying your bills? I understand there's successful black people, but there's also a very large amount of poor black people and poor Hispanic people that have absolutely nothing, and they're living off the system,
Yeah.
and they're living off white people's tax dollars.
I mean, it's American tax dollars. I didn't know that we were segregating
We
our
were talking
dollars now.
about segregation.
You said what now? Sorry.
We were talking about segregation.
So
So
okay,
it's
but we would still be
just like
even with segregation, right? We would all still be American citizens.
no,
Or
no,
would
no.
that change?
Segregation by Native Americans.
Sorry.
Basically, what I advocate for
Mm-hmm.
is that we all just kind of chop it up, and white people's tax revenue pays for white people's social services.
Mm-hmm.
Black people's tax revenue pays for black people. So, and whites can't hire blacks,
So you're
meaning
talking
every
about
social
you're so
segregation.
because you got to remember under segregation,
This is what
everyone was still an American
this is what
citizen.
you
So
want. Yeah,
what you're
this is what you
producing.
want. You want
Hang on,
all of white people, but
hang
none of
on,
the white people.
hang on,
That's
hang
what
on.
you want.
No. Hold on. What I'm saying
That's
is,
what
if
you're
we're
going
talking about
to say.
segregation
Mhm.
in the past, everybody was still a United States citizen. Like that didn't change, right? Or
We're not changing citizenship.
well, from what it sounds like, if you're saying that white dollars are only going to go for white this and white, then you're not talking about all of us being
Right, but
United States
this
citizens
is what black
anymore.
people have always done. Don't take this the wrong way, Jay. But this is what black communities always done. They've wanted all of the white people's revenue, but they've never wanted the white people. Black people are
How about
extremely
this?
racist.
Let me ask you this: how do you feel about reparations for
You can have
descendants of
reparations.
slaves?
I'm willing to move that, right? I'm willing to provide you reparations in a vote. When in order to get reparations, you're going to have to agree like the Native Americans did.
And so, I mean, what like agree to what?
But technically, our
Reservation.
reparations was a part of the Indian bill. We just never got our part of what the Indians got.
Hmm.
That's the truth of it.
Hmm.
I have no problem with figuring something out for reparations. Black people did contribute with the building of America. And if there's some type of reparations that can get worked out, whether it's free trade school or lump sum payments or whatever it can be, giving every black person $1 million, it's all gonna end up in white people's hands again.
Okay.
It's gonna be generations. It doesn't matter. You don't own the system.
Yeah.
So the system is favored towards white people.
Yeah,
The
we know
point
that.
is, yeah. So the point of it is that even if you did get reparations, and let's say we gave every black person $100,000,
Mm.
I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Why not? It's good. Good for you. Why not? It
Hmm.
doesn't affect me. But that's got nothing to do with segregation. I'm still talking about totally separating everything.
Well, the reason I brought up that was because of the conversation with when you were talking about resources and things like that, and Big Pop was also talking about how we don't have access to certain things. The reason I brought up reparations is because I think a lot of the issues that the black community has are economic based,
That would
and
also mean that would also mean that you can't learn from white trade teachers,
you're talking
right?
about
So like when you go
segregation
to
still.
yeah, like that's what I'm trying to say is we'll give you the money, but you got to build your own schools. You got to get your own
And that's
teachers.
fine. We've done that in the past. They just kept getting destroyed by white people. So as long
Yeah.
as y'all leave us
Well,
the hell alone, I think we'll be fine, right?
we have left you the hell alone.
No, you
I've given you
haven't.
I can
No, you haven't. No,
I
you haven't.
all
Because
cities. Yes,
the
yes,
system of
yes, we
white
have.
supremacy is still ongoing in this country. It has
No,
not
you're never
stopped.
going to get Jay, you're asking white people to quit. What you're asking white people to do, let me get this out. You're asking white people to say, hey, will you let us catch up?
No, no.
We're
We're
not going to
saying
stop.
that's not. See, no. We're not asking for you to let us catch up. Is that what you just said? I want to make sure I'm repeating it correct. Is that what you just said?
Well,
You're asking
let me
you think that
let me
black
speak for
people are
you.
asking white people for us to catch up?
You need to ask white people for the you dude. You guys are really behind.
But see, that's not you just said two different things. You said that's what we asked, but
Well,
then you
go
also
ahead.
said
Well,
that's what we
that's
need. So
fine.
which is it?
Go ahead.
I'm asking you.
Your rhetoric of like your white people are not going to just roll over and quit because black people our feelings are hurt.
And we don't expect you to quit anything. All we're
Well, then we're
asking
going to
for
keep
is
the
to
system as
get
white
what's owed
supremacists.
to
We're going to
us
we're going
and
to
to be
continue to
left
be white
alone.
supremacists. We
Sorry?
have left you. We're going to continue to be white supremacists.
Right.
We're not
Yeah,
going to
you
live in a world where black people run
so
everything.
so then that's the thing. That's where you just said we have left you alone, but then you acknowledge that white supremacy is still a thing. So then how have you
Why are
left
you
us alone?
offended by it? Why are you offended by white supremacy? Why does it
I'm not
bother you?
offended by white supremacy. I'm just saying white supremacy is a thing, and I understand that it runs
So is
the
black
country.
supremacy. I can go, Jay, very fairly, I can go into an FBA chat and hear black supremacy.
There's no such thing as black supremacy. Like
See, see, that's not true because there are people that think blacks are better than whites.
anybody could think that they're better than somebody. That doesn't make it true.
You're breaking up.
I was saying that anybody could say that they're better than the next person, but that doesn't make it true, right?
So are blacks better than whites? Or whites better than blacks?
Nobody's
Or
better
are we
than anybody. That's the point. But you have a group of
that you have to
people
produce?
and a system that backs that up. It's not just the fact that you have people that
We
believe
built
it,
this.
but you have a system in place that also backs that up. That's the other part of it too. It's not
This is our
just
system. It's
a
not your system.
non-spoken thing. Is
You
you
have no
have
written history.
huh?
Africans have no written history. Zero.
Say what?
Your black history would not exist unless the French wrote about it. There's no, you speak English. You live
Yeah,
in a
it's because we
Western.
didn't have a choice.
That's Jay.
When you have people that come over and take over your land, yeah, that tends
You're
to happen.
Jay. Jay, the Chinese are doing it to Africans right now. You can go
Right.
watch a documentary of the Chinese colonizing Africa, and even the
Correct.
Chinese person said the French came over here and built you train tracks in 1960s, and you never did anything with them. You just let them fall apart.
Well, those are Africans. Those are two
And that's the
different groups of
Chinese.
people. What?
Jay, you have to accept something.
What's that?
Jay, you have to accept reality. Black people are dumb.
Are what?
And you have to realize you're one of the smart ones. But they're dumb, Jay.
You saying black people as a whole are dumb?
They have very low IQs, Jay. The tests are out.
Oh man, that's funny. Okay.
I'm sorry, Jay.
Well, I'm sorry that you believe that.
I think China believes it too. It isn't just me. I
Well,
encourage
who
you
cares what
to
China thinks?
I
Besides
well,
white
I,
supremacists who are trying to
we were
compete with
talking about
Chinamen,
earlier.
obviously.
Are we going to rely on black men to be the engineers of the future of America?
I mean,
Are they the ones that are filling the math rooms at MIT?
if we had the opportunity, I'm sure we could, yeah. But
I don't think you can, Jay.
when you have people that go to court
I
to
don't
keep
know,
certain
Jay.
people out
I
of
don't think you
classes
can.
and out of
Jay,
schools, yeah,
no.
that tends to
No,
happen.
Jay. I don't think you can compete with any of the Chinese at math. I don't think you can compete.
I don't think any American can compete with the Chinese in math.
I'm sorry. The richest man in the world is a South African white man, right?
Mm, I don't I don't I don't
I'm
know.
sorry. Excuse me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. The president of the United States is white. Elon Musk is white. Do these men
Elon
not
Musk is
count?
African though. He's African
Yeah,
American.
Jay, you're going, Jay. You've been programmed to have an answer for everything that is. You have an answer, but the problem is you need to go research what the Chinese think.
Why do
The
I care what the
Chinese,
Chinese think besides the fact that
because
they
it's an
run everything?
unbiased study.
Besides
The
the
reason
white
I
people.
encourage
They're trying to be white people. That's what I know.
black people are trying to be white people.
I mean, no.
Why do black people wear white people clothes? Why are you not wearing your African garments?
Are you serious?
Yeah. Why are Mexicans not wearing ponchos?
Okay, well then, how come the white people that come over here from wherever they come from, why don't they wear their lederhosen or whatever?
Well, the
Because they try
suit.
to dress like black people. That's right. Okay.
No, Jay. There are white people that are definitely fucked up. There's white people, black people that are fucked up for sure. The point is that the the suit, how you tie a tie, those are like, for instance, a Windsor knot, a double Windsor knot, on how you tie a tie. That's not African.
Okay.
The, like, more black men wear European dress styles than they wear their native.
And we make it fly. So what?
You can't make some. No, you don't make it fly.
Yeah, we do. Because
You've
why
actually
then why
you
does the rest of the world try to emulate us?
no one's emulating you.
Yeah, they do.
It's the you
Yeah, they
watch too
do.
much.
Yeah, they do. No.
No,
Yeah,
they
they
don't.
do.
No, Jay.
Yeah, they do.
No, Jay. This is called YouTube. This is called this is called YouTube. This is called the internet. Jay, the black American is the least desired person wherever they go.
Then why
Nobody wants you.
then why does everyone try to do what we do? And I mean, you can go anywhere in the world. I don't know if you travel or not, but if you go anywhere in the world, you'll see people literally emulating what black people do, and they're not even there's no black people around. So where do they get that from?
It's YouTube, Jay.
Right. So wherever they get it from,
Nobody.
who cares? YouTube, the
Nobody.
radio,
And
TV, who cares? They get it
Jay,
from that. Our culture was presented around the world, and
Jay, you're
ironically, we're also the least desired.
yeah.
Isn't that interesting?
No, Jay, no serious man in this world. You're the culture of the slaves. You're the culture of the poor people.
Hmm.
But Jay, nobody at a country club with billions of dollars is emulating a black man.
What are they emulating at the country clubs?
No one's emulating. No one's trying to become Beyonce. As a matter of fact, Beyonce is trying to become white. The blonde
Well,
wig.
I will say that she
Let's
has
start with
gotten
black
blonde hair
women.
since she's gotten more
I
popular.
like to see. I would like to see black women stop wearing wigs, so we all can see exactly who they are. A bald mess. Let's take all of the black women's wigs off, because they
Okay.
all have wigs.
Hmm.
They all put wigs on that makes their hair straight, while it's just basically pubes that
Hmm.
constantly fall out. Your hair is constantly falling out of your head. Most black men have extensions for their dreads. That's not their real hair. The entire black culture is fake. Fake asses, fake tits, fake lips, fake eyelashes, fake hair,
Where do you
fake
think they got
cars,
that
fake
from, though?
music, fake money.
Where did all that come from?
Jay, you're the victim.
Obey.
Jay,
Obey.
stop it.
Stop
You
it.
might be an intelligent black man, but even you can see through the nonsensical ghetto bullshit.
Well, I'm asking you a question. You haven't answered it.
You're not victims.
That's that's not the
You're
answer.
humans.
That's
Where
not.
did it come from? Your
Yes.
beauty salons, your barbershops.
So, like I said, the issue with a lot of like Black American issues are economic issues, right? So
That's a symptom of low intelligence.
that's
All
a
po- all
symptom of
all
white
poor people,
supremacy, and it's
white
also a symptom of us not getting our proper
white
repair.
people.
So there's a couple of things that you're missing out in your argument there, Obey.
I no, Jay. I've already explained to you.
No,
White people, white. Let me say this. White people are not going to give up white supremacy.
I understand that, and you also must
So I don't know
understand
why you keep
that
asking
all
if
this
it's a
stuff that
choice.
you're talking about is because of white people. So until you
Well, then I
acknowledge
would.
that, I don't know if
Then
you're
you're a
really
victim.
okay. So if
Then
that's
you're a victim.
where you are. That's where you are with it. But at the same
You know,
time, like
that's
I
where
said, you
you
gotta
are with it.
acknowledge where the white supremacy comes in. And yes, we
You
are
can do.
victims of white supremacy. We've been victims for
Okay,
400
that's fine.
years, and we have yet to have any repair done. So
You want
until
it to repair
America
it.
makes its correction, yeah, we're still going to be having this issue. So maybe
No, it's
if,
not for us, Jay.
huh?
We've already moved on.
Well, yeah,
Jay,
that's easy for you all to move on when you've
we're leaving
had
you, Jay.
hundreds of years in advance and taken
We're leaving,
and have had
we're
all of
leaving
the free
you.
labor and
All,
all of the businesses and land. So yeah, that's easy
Jay,
for you all to
we're
go
leaving
ahead and say,
black
"Oh,
population.
let's just move on and act like none of that happened," and
We are
then
going
say
to do
that the
that.
black people are just lazy and ghetto and whatever else that
They
you
are
want to
lazy and
say,
ghetto.
and say that they're
Yeah, Jay, right.
victims and not acknowledge at all that white supremacy has a lot to do
So
with it,
you're a victim.
and
You're a victim.
that you have a whole system in place that backs up the racism. So
Okay.
all of that,
Well, I'd like to say something that um, Barack Obama was supported by Black America
unfortunately,
unproportionately. Black America loved Obama, and Barack Obama didn't do anything for you either. So was Barack Obama also a black supremacist? I mean, a white supremacist?
yes, he was absolutely, yeah,
Okay, all right.
just like
So
Wes
with
Moore
so
is,
you
yes,
so
and all the
what
other
response?
people that have been running places like Baltimore, yes, all of those black faces and
Oh,
white
okay, all right.
faces, they're
I
essentially white
got you.
supremacists because you know what,
I got you.
they serve the white
All right.
supremacists. They don't actually serve the black people that voted for them because if they did, they
Okay, I
would
got
do a
you.
lot more than
So
what they
what's the
would be doing.
this day? What? Okay, so I understand what you're saying. So what you so basically where we have to meet in the middle in this conversation is that until black people run the entire country, they won't have a fair chance.
I don't know where you got what I said from.
Well, we're never going to leave. So I mean, white people aren't going to
So
totally
what
leave
makes you think we
government.
want to run the whole thing? Where did you get that from?
Well, you just keep on saying that white supremacy is your problem. So how do you get rid of white supremacy? You get rid of white people.
mm, no.
That's the only way you're going to get rid
How
of it.
about white people
No,
start?
I think the mindset needs to change.
And
We're
Is
that's
not
the
all.
doing
I
issue.
was just about to say, white people need to start holding other white people
No,
accountable.
we're not
That would
doing
be a
any of
good
that.
start right there because black people
You're
are never
listening
going to be
to
able to
white
hold white people accountable for
tell
acting
you.
white. Okay.
No, well, hold on. You're listening to a white man tell you we're not changing. If anything, it's
Right.
going to get worse.
We and
It, I
and
mean,
we get that. So that's where I'm
so I
saying
don't know what.
that
What?
we understand that white supremacy isn't. So what makes you think
It
that?
doesn't matter anymore. Okay, let me ask you a question. All right. So you know how like if somebody punches you in the arm 100 times, you stop feeling the punch, kind of gets numb.
Hmm.
That those words, white supremacy, basically are meaningless now to white people. We have absolutely, matter of fact, we're promoting it now.
Yeah,
We're
we know.
promoting white supremacy.
We
Right.
know you
It's
are.
actually gotten worse for you guys because we're definitely doubling down on the white supremacy.
Just like how we say
So you're
ghetto,
definitely
because we
fucked.
took it away from you all. You all use it as a word to you know intimidate and cause fear, and we just kind of took it and use it the
Whatever
way we
you
want to use
take,
it.
I'm
So
trying to
yeah.
say, what I'm trying to tell you guys is
Hmm.
that because of Joe Biden and him standing up saying that white supremacy is the biggest threat to America, we've doubled down.
So that was another
We're
white
going.
man though. That
I'm going
wasn't
to
black
explain
people
something
saying
to
that.
both of you, since you're both people of color. I'm going to explain something to both of you.
Please go
Donald
ahead.
Trump, Donald Trump is going to look like a Democrat when the real white supremacist gets in office. He's going to look like a liberal
Well,
because
yeah. I
when
mean,
the
that's
real,
every.
Well, I mean, he is a liberal. He donated to
he's going to,
a handful of Democrat
we're talking
um
moderate.
people who ran.
Okay. We're the real white supremacist when he gets in charge is going to label Bloods, Crips, Black Guerrilla Mafia, organized black crime that's in the streets. You're going to be the next domestic terrorist.
What about
Because
all
I
the
can go.
organized white crime?
I'm not done, Jay. I can go right. I can go right down on Greenmont Avenue in Baltimore City, and I can witness organized crime. I can witness it. We've already dedicated MS-13 and Trey Delagua as domestic terrorists. The next people group that's going to be labeled as domestic terrorist, and I'm telling you right now, I live in this area. I'm in the Washington, D.C. area. It's already being talked about. The black community is going to be labeled domestic terrorists next. We see the videos. We see the way you treat police officers. We see everything. We see who the predominantly is in the jails for drug charges. We know who's dealing the fucking crack. We know who's dealing the fucking shit. We're coming after your group. Right now, we're going to deal with the Hispanics. But I'm telling you next, when the Bloods, the Crips, Black Guerrilla Mafia, the shit that they put on these fucking rap videos that fucking traumatizes people, and these young black kids end up, acting like they're carrying fucking Dracos at 9 years old, like what this person was saying. Those people are going to be labeled domestic terrorists.
So again, where does all of that come from? That comes from y'all's community.
I'm going to answer that, Jay. Not my fucking problem now.
Yeah, well, but again, so that's where it's not y'all's problem, but you all are the cause of it, and that's it. And he bounced.
Oh yeah, he left. Well,
There you go.
well, Ron, that was you were a very interesting guest that popped in on the podcast.
Hmm.
Um, I think that gives us something to think about.
I mean, he was saying a whole bunch of nonsense because,
Right.
again, you have the white supremacist community that think that they are just God's gift to humanity and that they don't do any wrong when their community is riddled with crime. It just doesn't get policed to the same extent like all the other communities. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's easy for them to say stuff like that and say, oh, Bloods and Crips. You don't even see Bloods and Crips like that to that extent. I mean, I don't know where this guy is, but he says he's in Baltimore. But again, that's just like this white supremacist fever dream that these people have is literally like trauma porn that they just can't get
Mm.
enough of, and they ingest all of this garbage where they see people fighting and doing all this shit, and then they really think that that's how the rest of the world is. So I mean, hey, they're in their little bubble of bullshit, and they're really confident about it, obviously. But hey, they'll find out that it's all bullshit at the end of the day because ain't none of these people gonna do anything. They all full of it.
Yes. And with that, we thank you for listening to the Truth, Power, and Perspectives podcast, where we listen to truth, we acknowledge the power, and we are open to different perspectives.
Yes, thank you for joining.
If you would like to continue the conversation, we would love to see if you're on YouTube, go ahead and drop down some comments. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe. Give this video a like. If you are here on X, on our True Power Perspectives page, drop us a comment and a like on this space. Um, if you are on TikTok, please give us a follow at TPP underscore podcast. If you are on Facebook, please like our page. That is in motion right now. It's working. Um, if you would like to follow us separately, you can follow me on Mimi the Great on all socials.
Yeah, just follow me.
Jay,
I'm Jay.
do you want to drop your details?
It is at JCJ08 star, like gangsta, but 08 star, 08 STA. And also follow the TPP podcast as well on X, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram and YouTube.
Yes, and IG. You
Yes.
can follow us on IG as well. But we'll be back this time next weekend. Um, with new news,
And it'll probably be
new
on throughout the week
topics.
sometime too, if something comes up or whatever.
Yeah, if something comes up, breaking news, we'll
Breaking
definitely
news. Ugh.
we'll definitely see if we can work through our schedules here and try to bring something to you all, some new heat.
Yeah.
But in between that, in between shows, definitely reach out to our socials that we dropped. And Jay, I thank you for another successful podcast, sir.
Thank you, Big Papa. Till next time.
Till
Have a
next
good night.
time. Bye.